Good evening, everyone. As we are in demo session, in starting sessions, that is the reason I'm just waiting for a few couple of minutes for students. So our regular class timings will be from 7:30 to 8:30. Okay. So in the last session, we discussed about Linux operating system and the features of Linux. Why, what is Linux and why we use Linux that we discussed in our last session. For that, I will give overview in today's session also. And before that, I'll give some notes also. If you are interested to maintain the notes, just take a screenshot of the slide, which I'm giving now. Take a screenshot and make your own notes. So it will be helpful in future also. No need to attend again and again any one classes. If proper notes, if you're maintaining yourself. Okay. If you don't want, not required, because as already you're getting recordings, if you don't want notes, that is your wish. But if you want to maintain the notes, you can. So, history of Unix. Before explaining about the last session, brief information about the last session, I will give, yeah, you will get daily records. Definitely, you'll get the daily records. But some people are interested in writing notes also. For them, I'm telling that. So, when I'm explaining the slides, just take a screenshot so you can maintain your own notes. This is only those who want to maintain the notes for them. For everyone, you will get recordings. So now, history of Unix Servlet. So, who invented Unix? This question in entry level, if you are going as a fresher, they're asking who invented Unix? Who invented Linux? These questions also they're asking in interviews. That is only the reason this slide. You can take a screenshot of this. And this is my you can Unix source code. Linux operating system is different. Unix is different operating system. But Linux came from Unix source. So that is the reason in few interviews they will ask who invented Unix. So Unix written in 100% C language and released in the year of 1973. Okay. Ken Thompson is the person who invented this in 1969. And using Unix source code, not only Linux operating system, we also have other operating system. Red Hat released Linux, right? Red Hat Linux we are telling. Same like that, other vendors also released their own operating systems using Unix source code. So these are the vendors and these are the operating system. This information, no one will ask you in any interviews. This is only for your basic knowledge purpose. I'm giving this slide. See, still right now also in IBM AX server only they are using. Sun is using Solaris. That's why we call Sun Solaris. Okay, so like this, these are the vendors and these are the operating systems internally they are using. And this is the flowers of Unix. Means source code is Unix only. Hope you have the screenshot if you want to write. And now coming to Linux, as we discussed in the last session. Linux is an operating system. Same like Windows, Linux also an operating system. Okay. And Linux in 1990, Linus Torvalds released this a graduate student. So developed this Linux operating system using Unix source code. How IBM released their own operating system as AX server by using Unix source code. Similarly, so Linus person also invented this Linux operating system. What is operating system? Operating system is an interface between hardware and user. Okay. And These are the distributors of Linux operating system. So many distributors are there. Not only Red Hat. Linux means not only from Red Hat. We have different distributors for Linux operating system. If we know C++ 100%, we can also develop our own operating system using the source code. You can do small changes. We can change the view of your operating system and you can release with your names. Operating, excuse me, operating system. So same like that. These are the operating systems. Okay, means distributors we have for Linux operating system. We also have Kali Linux, which we also call as Hackers Linux. In cybersecurity, we use that Kali Linux. That is also from Linux distribution only. Okay, so these are the few distributors of Linux operating system. And now, these are the versions of Linux operating system. This already I explained in the last session. Same thing, I'm just giving overview. So these are the versions we have in Linux operating system. Operating system is an interface between hardware and user. After assembling the PC, we cannot access our hardware environment directly. You have a new laptop, operating system is not installed. There is a hardware device. You purchased a new CPU, monitor, all the connections are connected. Okay, but still we cannot access that hardware components. We need one interface. So operating system is an interface between hardware and users. Okay, so we have different types of operating systems. Now what we are discussing that is about Linux operating system. In order to interact with hardware components, we need one operating system. So what we are learning that is about Linux operating system. So these are the free editions and these are the commercial editions. Commercial editions came from the year 2000. Okay, commercial editions means here also operating system is open, free. They will charge only for technical support. And next, these are the features of Linux operating system. What I explained in the last session, the same thing I'm just repeating one more time. Now, if you want to take a screenshot of the screen, you can take the screenshot. Okay, now features of Linux open source. Source code we get along with the operating system. Operating system is open to everyone. This is free of cost. And we can modify the operating system as per our requirement. And second is multitasking. Multitasking is available in Linux. It means multiple applications you can run at a time. This option, this feature is available in many operating systems, not only Linux. But coming to third point, multi-user. In Linux, multiple users can log in at a time and that user can perform their own task. Okay, in other operating systems, that is not possible. If you take Windows, if you have multiple users also at a time, you can click on only one user account. Okay, when you're working in that user account, if you want to work in another user account, first we'll log out from one account, then we log in into another account. That is in Windows. But coming to Linux, here, multiple users can log in at a time and they can do multiple tasks. Okay, this I will show you practically also in the further sessions. Okay, and portability can be installed in any hardware architecture. It supports any hardware environment. If you have least hardware environment also, you can configure Linux. Okay, and scalability from normal desktop PC to supercomputer operating system is same. There is no separate operating system for desktop PCs and server PCs. Say for example, now if you see Windows means, in Windows we have two types of operating systems. Client operating system, server operating system. As we already discussed in the last session, client means which request for the services. Server means which provides requested services. So in Linux, we have client operating systems and server operating system. What are the server operating systems we have? Like 2000, NT, 2000, 2003, 2008, 2012, 2016, these all server operating systems we have. And client operating systems means 95, 98, ME, XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11. These are the client operating systems in Windows. So it means separate operating systems are there for client side and server side in Windows. Right. So if you want to be as administrator, Windows administrator, you should know how to handle both operating systems. Client operating systems and server operating system, how to manage, what are the settings are there, what is the difference is there. Everything you should understand in Windows means. And when you are using a desktop PC with client operating system, there you cannot configure any servers in Windows. But coming to Linux, here operating system is same for desktop PC to supercomputer. Means for normal laptop to server PC, operating system is same. Now in our class, what we learn, what we discuss, what we do practical, same thing in real time also we do. So that is the advantage here. Operating system is same for normal PC, desktop PC to supercomputer. And here, another advantage feature of Linux is no downtime. No downtime means without restarting the PC, we can update everything in Linux machine. This is not possible with other operating systems. In Linux, many servers are working without any a single second of downtime. How they will work without restarting the computer, how they will work, that also I will show practically in futures of Linux. Whatever the points are there, every point in our sessions, in the further sessions, I will explain one by one all the points. Okay. And next, security. Linux is secure. Mr. Charan, for training fees you can contact them, our training department, council department, you can contact. Okay, now coming to security. Linux is secure. In Linux, we have inbuilt IP tables. Even in other operating system also by default, we have that option firewalls. IP tables are nothing but firewalls. The firewall option is there. Firewall is enabled in all the operating systems. Okay, so in Linux also, we have firewalls. Inbuilt firewalls are there. Whenever you want, you can enable. Whenever you want, you can disable. You can write the code also for them. And also we have SC Linux, Secured Enhanced Linux, extra feature of Linux. Okay. And that I will show practically where we use this. Another reason why Linux is secure. Linux works with command line interface. I explained in the last session. So those who know the configurations, they can only configure your machine. And next reason why Linux is secure. Linux is secure because it doesn't support exe files. No next finish, no auto runs. Okay. And next point, why Linux is secure. Linux password authentication is compulsory for every user. Without password, we cannot log in into any user account. It means without our permissions, without password, without until we change our password, others cannot access our accounts. Okay, password authentication is compulsory for every user. That is also a reason. Another reason, we can encrypt a file in Linux after creating the file. Okay, there is some important data in your file. After creating the file, you can encrypt the file by assigning password. Once a file is encrypted by assigning password, others cannot access your file. Okay, so this I will show this practical in file creations. When I create the files, at the time I will show this in B editor. And next reason why Linux is secure. Linux is secure because there is no setup files here. Everything we get as a configuration file. So as an administrator, what we configure in our PC, it accepts that only. So this is one more reason why Linux is secure means. Why? And another feature of Linux is free from virus free. How Linux is virus free? As we discussed, there is a kernel, there is a program called kernel in Linux. So what this kernel will do? Kernel is an interface between shell and hardware. What is the function of shell? When user gave any input, shell converts that into system understanding language, means into zeros and ones. Then it transfers the data to kernel. Before transferring the data to kernel, before transferring the data to hardware, kernel checks the data, whether the data is supported by hardware environment or not. If it is supported by hardware environment, then only transfers the data to hardware environment. Okay, if it is not supported by hardware environment or if any virus is there, you connected a pen drive. So if it is infected with virus is not required for our hardware. It rejects back. Something auto runs are coming. It rejects back. That is the reason Linux is free from virus. Okay, and comparing to other operating systems, comparing to Windows, we can say, comparing to Windows, Linux is faster performance-wise. Two reasons. One is command line interface, black screen with white font. It doesn't require more graphics. Okay, Windows is not like that. Everything is in colors. If you want to open a file, you want to delete a file, for everything it displays in colors only. Processor uses more graphics. That is one reason. Linux works with command line interface, black screen, white fonts. That's it. So processor work is less there. That's why it is faster. One of the reason. Another reason is in Linux, there is a concept called swap memory. Virtual swap means it is a virtual memory. What is the use of this virtual memory? It is used to increase the speed of our RAM. Okay, so that is also one reason why Linux is faster performance. Okay, so these are the few features of Linux operating system which we discussed in the last session. Okay, and again I'm telling that all the points I will show practically also one by one in our sessions. And now coming to next topic. Hope you are clear up to now. And once you joined in organization, once you complete, if you joined in the organization, if you registered with the organization, then they will add you into Telegram group also. So if you have any doubts, if any concept is not clear, you can ask me there also. I will respond. Those who already paid amount, they will add them into the group. Okay, so you can interact with me directly there also. Now, hardware requirement. This is the minimum requirement, hardware requirement of Linux. CLI means command line interface. GUI means graphical user interface. This is the minimum hardware requirement. Take a screenshot if you want. And next is recommended partitions and their sizes. In Windows means A and B are reserved for floppy, whether you are using or not. A and B are reserved for floppy. It start assigning the drive letters from C automatically. C, D, E, F in alphabetic order, it will assign the drive letters. That is in Windows. But coming to Linux, here partitions are different. Okay, so these are the recommended partitions and their sizes. What is the /boot /usr var home swap? First, I will explain that. Then again, I will come back to these recommended partitions and I will explain again this slide. Okay. Now, file system hierarchy standard, FHS of Linux. What is this FHS means? See, in Windows, after installing the operating system, so when you open your computer, you can see C drive. When you double click on your C drive, automatically you can see some folders. Can you tell what are the folders? Default folders in Windows operating system. You may have laptop or desktop, right? So in your laptop or desktop, if you open your C drive after installing the operating system, you can see default folders. Can you see what are they? Like documents, program files, you can see some default folders, right? That I'm asking. Check once. After finishing the session, check once. Coming to Linux, after installing the operating system, by default, we'll get some folders here also. Okay, so as I told you, in Linux, everything I will explain from basics. That is the reason the default folders also I'll explain. Once we install the operating system, along with your operating system, by default, you'll get this file system hierarchy. And in Linux, we call folder as directory. In Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call directory. So these are the default directories we get along with your operating system. Okay, what is the use of folder? Folder is used to store content, right? Content means what? It may be notepad, document, or subfolders, whatever it is. Folders are used to store content. Similarly, in Linux, we call it as directory. Folder we call as directory. Okay, so what is the use of directory? Directories are used for storing content. Same purpose. Only name is different. Okay, now these are the directories we have here. The first one is forward slash. Forward slash is similar to your C drive in Windows. It is a primary one. See, in Windows, C is compulsory partition, primary partition. Similarly, in Linux, forward slash is compulsory. Forward slash, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. What is forward slash means? It is a parent directory or top level directory in Windows. Sorry, in Linux. Okay, and it is similar to C in Windows. Forward slash is similar to C in Windows. And what it contains means it contains subdirectories. Directory means folder. I'm repeating again. Forward slash is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Forward slash contains subdirectories. Okay, and it is similar to C in Windows. So the first subdirectory under forward slash is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. In Windows, we call as administrator and here we call as super user. Okay, when you logged in as a super user means administrator. Remember, when we log in as a super user and you created any files or directories, by default, it stores the data under root. If you want to change the location to store the data, you can change the location. In Windows also, by default, it stores the data in C drive. If you are creating any files or folders, by default, it stores in C drive. If you have any other drives like D, E, F drives are there, you can select that drives also for storing the data, right? Similarly, in Linux, root is the home directory for super user. As a super user, you logged in and you created any files or directories. By default, it stores the data under root. Okay, and next subdirectory is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. Home is the home directory for normal use. As a normal, and creating it stores the data under home. I'm repeating. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in and you're creating any files or directories. By default, it is the data. Now, here, one more point to tell is when a user is created, automatically it creates a directory with same username. It means now you create a user Jack. Immediately it creates a directory with Jack name. Where it creates the directory? Under home. Now, if you create a user John, immediately it creates a directory with John name. Where it creates the directory? Under home it creates it. Now it means what? Now under home you have Jack directory, John directory. When Jack logged in and Jack is creating any files or directory, data is going under Jack's directory, which is under home. Similarly, when John user logged in and John created any files or directories, by default the data is going to store in John's directory, which is under home. Okay. If you want to store the data in other partitions, you can store that. If you want to store the data in other directories, you can store the data in other directories also. Okay, but by default, it stores the data under home. Now, boot. Boot contains bootable files. System bootable files are stored under boot. Also, kernel. Up to RHEL 6 version. Up to version 6, okay, kernel also stored under boot. And next one is sbin. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user, means administrator. That commands are stored under sbin. And next one is bin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. Okay, I'm repeating. / is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Okay, / contains subdirectories and it is similar to C in Windows. And / we have root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. And next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. And next is boot. Boot contains bootable files. System bootable files are stored under boot. Also kernel. Up to RHEL 6 version, kernel also stored under boot. Okay, from RHEL 7, kernel is storing in another directory that I will explain. Okay, and next one is sbin. Sbin contains super user commands. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. So sbin means system binaries, essential system binaries. Okay. Sbin contains super user commands and bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. And USR. USR contains default applications, applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. So for example, when you install Windows operating system, along with Windows operating system, you'll get Windows Media Player. We don't install it separately. We will get along with the operating system. Same like that, in Linux also, along with our operating system, we'll get some applications. That applications are stored under USR. And var contains variable files. Log files, system log files are stored under var. So for example, in Task Manager in Windows, you can see how many users are logged in, how much processor they are using, how much memory they are using. All the information it will display, right? Similarly, in var it contains users log files. How many users are logged in, at what time they logged in, what are the commands they executed. Every information is stored in var, log files. Bin contains normal user commands. USR contains default applications. Var contains system log files. Okay, next one is dev. Dev contains devices informations, means partitions information. In Windows, we call partition or drive. In Linux, we call device. Device is nothing but our partitions. Partitions are stored under dev. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. As we discussed, Linux works with configuration files. Where the configuration files are stored means under etc. I'm repeating. / is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Okay, / it contains subdirectories. Root is the home directory for super user. Home is the home directory for normal user. Boot contains bootable files and kernel up to version 6. Sbin contains super user commands. Bin contains normal user commands. It means when you logged in as a normal user and you are trying to execute any super user command, administrator command, it will not give output. It means somewhere it is maintaining that information. That is the reason it is not giving the output. Where it is maintaining the information means the commands which can be executed by super user maintained by sbin, and the commands which can be executed by normal user maintained by bin. USR contains default applications where contain variable files, system log files. Dev contains devices information, means partitions information. etc contains configuration files. opt contains optional applications, means applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install. If we want, we install that application. Like we have VMware software, we have Cisco packet tracer software, or if you're learning any softwares, we install that softwares also in our PC, right? So that all the applications which we install manually, that applications are stored under OPT. And next one is media. Media contains external devices information. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information. But up to version 6, RHEL version 6, media contains external devices information like external hard disk, external DVD writers, USB devices like pen drives. That information is maintained by media. And next one is MNT. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information, linked directories information. Means in Linux, after creating the partition and formatting the partition, we cannot access our partition directly. In Windows, we can access our partition directly. But in Linux, that is not possible. So how we access our partition means with the help of directories. Okay, so which partition is linked with which directory? That information is maintained by MNT. So I'm not giving much information about this MNT. Okay, because this I will show practically what is this partition, why we are giving the link, how to give the link, everything I will show practically. It is easy, very easy concept. You'll understand definitely. So for time being, MNT, it contains partitions and their linked directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is maintained by MNT. And next one is run. Run contains external devices information from RHEL 7. As I told, media contains external devices information up to RHEL 6. From RHEL 7 onwards, run contains external devices information. Also, kernel. Kernel also stored under run directory from RHEL 7 version onwards. Up to version 6, boot contains kernel. From version 7, run contains kernel. So these are the directories, default directories we have in our Linux. Okay, hope you are clear. I'm repeating once again. I'll go fast this time. /, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Okay, it contains subdirectories. // is similar to C in Windows. And root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. So when super user logged in and super user created any files or directories, by default it stores the data under root. Home is the home directory for normal user. Boot contains bootable files and kernel up to version 6. As bin contains super user commands, bin contains normal user commands. USR contains default applications, applications which we install manually. Where contains variable files, system log files. Dev contains devices information, means partitions information. etc contains configuration files, system configuration files. OPT contains optional applications. Media contains external devices information, removable devices information up to version 6. MNT contains which partition is linked with which directory. That information is maintained by MNT. Run contains external devices information and kernel information from RHEL7. So these are the default directories we have in Linux when we install the operating system. How we get default folders in Windows, same like that in Linux also we get this default directories. Hope you're clear in these directories. Okay, and I have the points for these directories also. Those who want to write the notes, they can write the notes. Just take a screenshot of this. Or if you don't want to write the notes, if you just want to follow through record, it will be recording in your records also. So these are the points for forward slash. I'm changing slide. So as I told in the last session, I will give point for every topic. Whatever I explain, for everything I will give points, definitely. SBIN stands for system binary. Yeah, every command I will show practically after installing the operating system in tomorrow's session. I will show how to install the operating system. Once operating system is installed, I will show every command and whatever features I give, that features also I will show practically one by one everything. So these are only theory part. In last session and today's session, only theory part. In tomorrow, once I install operating system from day after tomorrow, regularly labs will be there. Every command I will show. Okay, I will give notes for every point. I will explain, I will show, I'll give notes. slash mnt is not there here, right? Slash mnt contains, mnt stands for mount. Slash mnt contains partitions and their mounted directories information. It is not there in the slide, so I'm telling the point. Slash mnt. Mnt stands for mount. Slash mnt contains partitions and their mounted directories information. It stands for extent area. Or we can say uh, editable text configuration. ETC, we can also say editable text configuration. ETC stands for in easy pronunciation, editable text configuration. Because we configure manually and we edit them manually. I will show how to use it also. Right, editable text configuration. Okay, so these are the directories we have. And now I gave you one slide that is recommended partitions and their sizes. Yeah, everyday record videos they will give you, they'll provide. Once you register, you will get everyday record videos. Um, and try to maintain your notes also, because everything I will explain. Whatever the commands I will give the notes also. Notes I will share. I'll make a note whenever I explain any command. I will make a note also. The command and the use of the command I will explain. I will show practically and make a note also. And I will share the note in the class session itself. Here itself I will share it with everyone. So you can take the notes. So by seeing that notepad, you can do your practicals. Or if you want to write yourself, if you want to copy the notepad, you want to copy into any book, you can copy it. That is your wish. But regularly, what I explain in the sessions, I will give notes. Recording videos will be available. Okay. So once you register, they'll give recording videos also. And this session, some points I explained, directories I explained. So I showed you slides, right? In the next section, I will install the operating system. And after installation of operating system, after that session, I will show the basic commands. So every command I will show, I will explain, I will show practically, and I will give a note. Okay. So in real time, how we are using these commands, everything I will explain. Okay. How the commands are useful in real time. First of all, as a fresher, what you should learn. First, I will explain that. The basics I will explain. Once you're perfect in the basics, then so how other advanced concepts are there in real time. That also I will show. So no need to get any doubt in the sessions. I will explain everything. As I told in the last session also, from basic level to advanced level, completely will discuss theoretically, practically, and notes I will provide. Whatever I explain, I will give you notes also for that. No need to worry about anything. And when you have any doubts while doing the practicals, I'll be there to support you. I will give from my side 100%. If you're really showing the complete interest, if you have enthusiasm to learn new topics, if you want to be expert in Linux, so I'm ready to help you out. So now, previously I showed you this slide, recommended partitions and their sizes. So now you are clear about this, right? Slash put. These are recommended partitions, not compulsory partitions. These are only recommended partitions. Then, what are the compulsory partitions in Linux means? And this question in interviews also you will get. What are the compulsory partitions in Linux? The compulsory partitions in Linux is, first is root. Root is compulsory partition because root is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. All the subdirectories are there under root only. It is like C drive. Without C drive, nothing in Windows. Similarly, sorry, not root. Without forward slash, nothing is in Linux. Forward slash is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is compulsory partition, not recommended. Compulsory it is. And next, compulsory partition in Linux is swap. These two are compulsory. I'm repeating again. These are the recommended partitions in Linux. What are the compulsory partitions in Linux? Means forward slash and swap. Why forward slash is compulsory? Because it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. So it is compulsory partition. And second one is swap. Swap is compulsory partition while installing the operating system. There is an option to create swap memory. Without creating swap memory, we cannot continue our installation part. Okay, so what is the swap means? Swap is a virtual memory. It is used to increase the performance of physical memory. Swap is used to increase the performance of physical memory. And what is the size of swap? Swap is twice the RAM, double of your physical RAM, up to 4 GB. From 4 GB onwards, physical memory plus 2 GB swap memory size. Say for example, now you have 512 MB RAM. Now, physical RAM you have 512 MB. So, double of the RAM. Using 1024 GB, you can create a virtual memory and you can add that space to swap. If you have 1 GB, swap size you can create is 2 GB. If you have 2 GB RAM, swap you can create with 4 GB. Up to this only. Now, if you have 4 GB RAM, up to 4 GB, before 4 GB only double of the RAM from 4 GB. If you have 4 GB physical RAM, 4 GB plus 2 GB, physical RAM plus 2 GB. It means 4 plus 2, 8 GB. Using 8 GB space, you can create a virtual memory. You can take the space from hard disk and that you can give to your RAM. This also will do practically. And if you have 16 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, 8 plus 2, 10. Using 10 GB space, you can create virtual memory and you can add that space to your RAM. If you have 16 GB RAM, 16 plus 2, 18 GB. 18 GB space you can add to your physical memory. So performance automatically it increases. So these two are the compulsory partitions in Linux. Forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions in Linux. We have separate class for swap. We have swap partition, separate class. After 1 week, we get the concept swap partitions. Again, I will discuss about this swap at the time. I will give points also. Practically also, I will show at the time. While installing the operating system, creation of swap partition is compulsory. And after installing the operating system also, we can create swap memory. Okay, so why we create, how to create everything, I will explain theoretically, practically in further sessions. So forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions. Next, slash boot is compulsory, not. It is a recommended partition. This is not compulsory. Okay, it is just recommended. If you don't create slash boot while installing the operating system, also no problem. It automatically creates and it takes the space from forward slash. Then why it is recommended? Because slash boot required 200 to 500 MB space. Up to version 6, 200 to 500 MB space is enough. Okay, from version 7, 1024 MB is required. It means 1 GB space is required. That space is sufficient enough. Okay, so while installing the operating system, it is recommended to create slash boot so that we can use some space like 500 MB, 1 GB space we can fix to slash boot. It uses only that space. It will not access space from forward slash. And next one is slash home. This is recommended. This is also recommended in client basis. It is recommended. This is not compulsory partition. This is recommended partition. Say, for example, if you don't create slash home, manually, if you don't create means what it will do when user is logged in and user is creating any files or data, it will take the space from forward slash and it stores in slash home. If there is no space in forward slash, it cannot store users data. That is the reason while installing the operating system, we create slash home and will specify some space like 50 GB or 100 GB space will specify. When you specified 100 GB space, okay, so when you fix 100 GB space to your slash home, using that 100 GB space, your normal users can work. So it is recommended only. If you don't have any multiple users, this is your own laptop, no need to create home. It is not recommended. Okay, and previously we have a concept called disk quotas. In latest version, that concept is not there. So if you want to create disk quotas also means giving permissions to users in order to occupy our hard disk. So in interviews also, no one are asking about quotas. Now it is removed. Quota concept is removed. But in previous versions, there is a concept of disk quotas in Linux. If you want to configure disk quotas while installing the operating system itself, we need to create home. Then only it supports quotas concept. Now we are not using quotas, not required. Okay, and slash usr and slash var. These two directories are recommended only in server machine. In normal desktop PCs, these two are not recommended, not required. Why this slash usr and slash var are recommended in server machine means slash var contains what log files, system log files. So server maintains all the users log files, information when they logged in, when they logged out, whatever the commands they configured, at what time what they configured, how much space they used, everything information server required. As a administrator, we should know about every user information. So slash var contains that information. So to maintain all the users information manually, we create slash var directory and we give space accordingly based on our requirement, based on our number of users, we'll give the space to slash var so that it will store the data in that var directory. If there is no space in var directory, it cannot store the data information of the users. That is why it is recommended in server machine. Slash USR also recommended in server machine only. So slash USR contains default applications, right? So in server machine, they will run all the applications, whether we are using or not. Every application they will run. So to run all the applications without interruption, so there should be more space in USR. That is the reason it is also recommended in server machine. So these are the recommended partitions and compulsory partitions of Linux. I'm repeating. Compulsory partitions of Linux is forward slash and swap. Forward slash is compulsory because it is a parent directory. Swap is compulsory to increase the performance of our RAM. Okay, slash boot is recommended to avoid wastage of space. Slash home is recommended to specify some space so that using that space user can store the data. Slash USR and slash var are recommended in server machine. Slash USR is recommended to run all the application without any disturbances. Slash var is recommended to maintain variable files, log files. Okay, so these are the recommended partitions we have in Linux. Hope you are clear in this concept. And next concept is about installing the operating system. Once I install the operating system tomorrow, from day after tomorrow, I will show all the practicals. Daily practicals will be there from day after tomorrow. Means from tomorrow onwards itself. Tomorrow installation I will show. Okay, so after that, from day after tomorrow, I will show how to log in into computer, how to create a file, how to check the content, everything from very basic level. I will explain because some of you may very new to Linux operating system. Windows means you can create a file, you can create a folder. It is not difficult. But in Linux, starting initially we get confusion. Linux works with commands, but remember, commands are not difficult. No need to remember any command because everything I will give notes. And Linux is very interesting. Definitely you will love it, Linux. I'm sure about that. Okay. So if you don't know any coding, no issues, not required. If you cannot remember the commands also, no problem. I will give all the commands. After completion of this course, Mr. Kondareddy, up to 3 years experience, you can go. 3 to 4 years are recommended. You can go. Okay. Basic for freshers, they can go for fresher jobs up to 3 to 4 years experience also. You can send the resumes. So those who want resumes, I will give sample resumes also. Later in further sessions, I will forward sample sessions. I will guide you at the time. So this is about our today's session. Thank you for the session. We will meet tomorrow by 7:30. And try to be on time, 7:30. We can start the session. So by 8:30, I can close your session. So it will not disturb your other plans. Thank you. Hope you're clear in the class. Thank you for the session. We'll meet tomorrow. So no one are asking doubts. So I'm closing the session. Good night.
Madam.
Yeah, Venkat.
Madam, can I talk to you?
Yeah, Harish, you can ask.
మేడం తెలుగు మాట్లాడచ్చా మేడం మీకు
Come
అర్థం
again.
ఓకే మేడం మేడం మీరు కమెంట్స్ మొత్తం ప్రాక్టికల్ చూపిస్తా ఉన్నారు మేడం
అవునండి.
ఓకే మేడం థ్యాంక్ యూ అలాగే మేడం
ప్రాక్టికల్
మీరు మేడం జాబ్ చేస్తుంటారా మేడం జస్ట్ టీచింగ్ అయినా మేడం
జాబ్ చేస్తున్నాను అండి. రెండు వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాను. టీచింగ్
మేడం
ప్యాషన్.
ఓకే మేడం ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ హౌ మెనీ ఇయర్స్ మేడం
నాకు 13 years ఉందండి మొత్తం.
13 years
13
ఓకే మేడం జాబ్ జాబ్
జాబ్.
ఓకే మేడం టీచింగ్ ఫీల్డ్ మేడం
టీచింగ్ నాకు 15 years ఉన్నది ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్.
ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ
2006 నుంచి చెప్తున్నాను.
ఓకే
అండ్ కమాండ్స్ నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. నేను కమాండ్స్ నోట్స్ కూడా ఇస్తానండి.
ఓకే మేడం బయట ఇప్పుడు
నేను
ప్రజెంట్ అయితే వేరే వాళ్ళ దగ్గర
ఏంటండి?
తీసుకుంటున్నాను మేడం
ఓకే.
కోచింగ్ వాళ్ళు ప్రాక్టికల్
ఓకే.
చూపించలేదు మేడం తను కూడా
లేదు
జాబ్
నేను
ఉంటే
ఓకే. మనకి రేపటి నుంచి ప్రాక్టికల్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది కదా! రేపు ఓఎస్ ఇన్‌స్టాలేషనే.
ఓకే
మీరు
మేడం.
ఎల్లుండి అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి.
ఓకే మేడం.
ఓకే. ఎందుకంటే ఎల్లుండి నుంచి నేను బేసిక్ కమాండ్స్ చెప్తాను కదా!
ఓకే.
అప్పుడు నేను ఫస్ట్ కమాండ్ ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేసి, ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసి చూపిస్తాను.
ఓకే మేడం.
సో, మీకప్పుడు ఒక ఐడియా వస్తది.
ఓకే మేడం.
అండ్ లినక్స్‌లో థియరీ పార్ట్ ఒకటే చెప్పుకుంటూ వెళ్తే మనకసలేం అర్థం కాదు. నేను
ఆ!
కమాండ్స్ చెప్పకుండా అంటే చూపించకుండా థియరీ చెప్పేస్తే అసలు లినక్స్ అర్థం కాదు. వేస్ట్
అవును
మన
మేడం.
క్లాసెస్ కూడా వేస్ట్.
వేస్ట్ మేడం. యెస్ మేడం.
యాహ్! సో, మీకు అందులో డౌట్ లేదు. నేనన్నీ ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ఇలా మీరు క్లాస్ అయిన తర్వాత మీరు పింగ్ చేయొచ్చు కూడా నాకు ప్రాబ్లమ్ లేదు. ఏమైనా ల్యాబ్స్ చేసేటప్పుడు డౌట్స్ ఉంటే నేను ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను.
ఓకే మేడం. ఎన్ని సెక్షన్స్ ఉంటుంది మేడం?
ఏంటండి?
క్లాస్ సెక్షన్స్ ఎన్ని ఉంటాయి మేడం మొత్తం కోర్సులో? 35 డేస్ అట్లా ఉంటుంది మేడం.
అవునండి. మినిమమ్ 35 డేస్ ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే మేడం.
మండే
ఓకే.
టు ఫ్రైడే.
ఓకే మేడం. ఓకే మేడం. థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం.
ఓకే అండి. Amma, completely your voice is not audible.
Hello,
Yeah, Amar.
ma'am. After
After completing, you can apply up to 3 to 4 years experience. We can mention. You can mention definitely. But if you're mentioning 3 to 4 years experience means you need experience certificate also on that, right? So if you can handle that, you can apply up to 3 to 4 years experience. Without any risk, you will get the job. You can go up to 5, 6 years also, but they will ask in depth. So without any risk, if you want means 3 to 4 years, you can apply. Up to 4 years.
recorded in video.
Amma, Ammar, I'm very sorry. Please text me. I will respond because your voice is not at all audible. Sorry, don't mind on it. Check once. Our voice is not at all audible. You can text me. I will reply. Text me on chat. Yeah, daily recording videos they will provide you. You will get recording videos. In class, I will share notes also.
మేడం ఎస్టర్డే క్లాస్ వినలేదు. లింక్
ఏంటండి?
ఎస్టర్డే క్లాస్ వినలేదు మేడం. లింక్ కావాలి మేడం. ఎస్టర్డే క్లాస్
వినలేదంటున్నారా?
ఎస్టర్డే మేడం మిస్ అయ్యాను.
ఈరోజు నేను స్టార్టింగ్ మీకు వాళ్ళ రికార్డ్ పంపించేస్తారండి. ఒకసారి మీరు వాళ్ళకి అడగండి.
ఓకే
కాంటాక్ట్
మేడం.
చేస్తున్న పర్సన్‌ని అడగండి. అండ్ ఈరోజు నేను ఓవర్‌వ్యూ చెప్పాను కదా! ఫ్యూచర్స్ ఆఫ్ లినక్స్ అని.
ఎస్ మేడం.
అవే నేను ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేశాను. ఈరోజు కొంచెం ఓవర్‌వ్యూ ఇచ్చి వదిలేసాను.
అంటే సిలబస్ ఏమైనా చెప్పారా మేడం? సిలబస్ టాపిక్స్?
సిలబస్ కూడా నేను ఇచ్చేసానండి అందులో.
ఓకే.
మీకది వస్తుంది.
ఓకే మేడం.
రికార్డ్‌లో అది కూడా వస్తదండి.
ఓకే.
Job assistance, talk to management regarding job assistance. If I know any openings, personally, if I know any openings, definitely I will share with you guys. Okay, and job assistance, surety, this all means you need to talk to management only. I cannot promise that. My job is up to classes. I will take care of classes 100%. Anything else?